When you hear the word disaster, what comes to mind? Actually, let's check what the definition for disaster is. Yeah, that sounds about right. The 90s was a golden age of gaming which rapidly accelerated what was thought to be possible in the technological boundaries. Nintendo put out their own 16-bit competitor, with a catalogue of critically acclaimed games such as Super Metroid, A Link to the Past, and Super Mario World. The SNES went on to sell 49 million units. Certainly the expectations were high for what Nintendo would do next. Skip forward 5 years to 1995 and everything seemed promising, until the Virtual Boy was released. The console would be priced at a very cheap $179.50. Sounds good, right? Well, except for the fact that inflation is a thing. So according to the value of the dollar today, that would be roughly $300. Well, the launch lineup must be good, right? Well, you had games like Headache Tennis, Nausea Pinball, Seizure Boxer, and Dizzy Alarm. Yes, there was a distinct lack of Nintendo's flagship titles like Metroid, a mainline Super Mario, and A Legend of Zelda. Due to the system's cheap direction in using a red color scheme, it also suffered. Another thing to consider is the fact that at the time, Nintendo was also developing their next home console, the N64, which was released a year later in 1996. So, due to split resources, they decided to rush the Virtual Boy out in an unfinished state. All this topped off with a horrible marketing campaign, and this led to Nintendo's biggest failure, selling only 770,000 units. Personally, I think that it just wasn't the time for Nintendo to make something like this, considering the costs of manufacturing, even when going with a more cheaper production. Combine that with the fact that Nintendo probably didn't even know what they were going to do with the Virtual Boy, and you had an aimless console with no real substance. It is a good concept, but it wasn't executed at the right time or in the right way. So what were the cons of the Virtual Boy? Well, it was expensive, going at $300, which is what the Nintendo Switch cost. There was a lack of flagship titles, a cheap direction in terms of graphical capabilities using a red color scheme, seeing as it was cheaper, a rushed release which was due to split resources with the N64's development at the time, and it's clear why the Virtual Boy was a failure in every aspect. But just to keep this video a bit positive, let's consider some of the pros of the system. Well, we got Mario Tennis, I guess. Alright, let's try searching the actual definition of disaster, shall we? Okay.